Today, the last topic of the first chapter, the solid state, is semiconductor. You know, electronic conductors having electrical conductivity in the range of 10 raised to power 4 to 10 raised to power 7 ohm inverse 1 centimeter inverse 1 means electrical conductivity if exists in the range of 10 raised to power 4 to 10 raised to power 7 ohm inverse 1 centimeter inverse 1, then that substance will be considered to be semiconductor. And few of the common examples of semiconductors are silicon, tin, cuprous oxide, silicon carbide, so-called carborundum, and the combination, substance of gallium with arsenic. We should have to go through the division of semiconductors. These semiconductors are further divided into two parts. The first one is of intrinsic semiconductor and the second one extrinsic. You know, intrinsic semiconductors, these are the pure substances which are acting as semiconductor. For example, silicon and germanium. It is okay? Means pure substances that are semiconductors, especially silicon and germanium, these are intrinsic semiconductors. But in case of extrinsic semiconductors, the conductivity is due to impurity, means they are formed by doping. Means doping is a new term you are getting here. Doping means addition of impurities, means if any substance is added by some impurities and the new substance is now able for conduction, it is okay. Means new substance is now acting as semiconductor, then this type of semiconductor will be considered the extrinsic semiconductor. Few of the common examples are when germanium mixed with silicon, means germanium is doped by silicon, then extrinsic semiconductor will be formed. In the same fashion, when phosphorus get mixed with silicon, arsenic get mixed with germanium, antimony get mixed with germanium, or phosphorus get mixed with boron, aluminium or gallium, either of one group before or one group afterwards, are to be added to the substances of silicon, germanium, then extrinsic semiconductors will be formed. And these extrinsic semiconductors are further divided into two parts: N-type semiconductor and P-type semiconductor. N-type semiconductor means when silicon doped by group 15 elements. You know, carbon, silicon, germanium, these all elements are considered in the group 14 elements. Means when the group 14 element like silicon doped by group 15 element like phosphorus, then conductivity is due to the presence of negative charge, means electron. Excess electron will be there, and finally this cumulative substance, silicon doped by phosphorus, will be acting as extrinsic semiconductor, and this semiconductor is N-type. N stands for negative charge because excess of electrons are there with negative charge. Now P-type semiconductors, when silicon doped by group 13 elements like gallium, then conductivity is due to positive poles. It is okay? Means that is why the extrinsic semiconductor considered to be the P-type semiconductor. So semiconductors are two types: intrinsic, extrinsic. Intrinsic are pure substances acting as semiconductor. Extrinsic means when any substance is created some impurity effect, and due to impurity that becomes semiconductor, that is called extrinsic semiconductor. And these extrinsic semiconductors are further divided into N-type and P-type. Now children, we have to discuss the magnetic properties of the solids. You know, there are 5 type of magnetic properties we have to go through. The first one is a diamagnetic. These diamagnetic substances weakly repelled by magnetic field and do not have any unpaired electron. Means diamagnetic substances always possess paired electrons. Very common example: titanium oxide, vanadium pentoxide, and NaCl, etc. Many more other examples are there. So the first one is a diamagnetic. These are weakly repelled by magnetic field and they do not have any unpaired electron. Instead that they possess paired electron. Now the second one is a paramagnetic. These paramagnetic substances attracted by magnetic field have unpaired electron. Means paramagnetic substances are attracted by magnetic field and have unpaired electron. Very common example, this is a cuprous ion and this is a ferric ion, and finally this is cupric ion, and this is ferric ion and molecular oxygen. Very common example acting as paramagnetic. Now the third one is a ferromagnetic. Ferromagnetic substances are attracted by magnetic field and shows permanent magnetism. This is important point for you children. Ferromagnetic substances bears permanent magnetic character. It is okay even in absence of magnetic field. Means there was temporary magnetism in some substances, but here in case of ferromagnetic substances there is permanent magnetism. And very common example is of iron, cobalt, nickel, etc. These are the transition elements mainly. Now the fourth one is of antiferromagnetic substances. In antiferromagnetic substances, the net magnetic moment is zero due to compensatory alignment of magnetic moment. Very common examples: manganese oxide, manganese dioxide, and ferrous oxide. These substances considered to be the antiferromagnetic substances. Now at very last, hairy magnetism or perimagnetic substances. The substances have net dipole moment due to the unequal parallel and anti-parallel alignment of magnetic moment. Means magnetic moment should be, not nullified like the antiferromagnetism. There will be net dipole moment because parallel and anti-parallel. You can say, and this is upward, 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 then downward, then downward. Means 3 upward, 2 downward. Then there will be net, alignment of dipole moment seen in case of ferromagnetism. Common example is of magnetite, Fe3O4. So children, in this big chapter you have gone through number of discussions, and especially you focus on numericals based on the formula D is equals to density is equals to Z into M upon Avogadro's number into S length cube, and even then the calculation of radius ratio and finding out of coordination number and other numericals related to previous topics, and go through the imperfections, means point defects, Schottky defect, Frankel defect, metal excess defect, metal deficient defect, semiconductors, intrinsic and extrinsic, N-type, P-type, and these magnetic properties: diamagnetic, paramagnetic, ferromagnetic, antiferro, perimagnetism, and the previous topics which we have been discussed. Now this chapter is over. In next topic we will start the chapter 2, and that is the solution. Thank you. Have a nice day.